Sorry we got probably a little carried away here on the vendors and kind of got our time skewed. But I want to thank you very much for giving us the information. It's very good.
I have
And so
one
what we're not-
question.
what we're
Jay,
not-
do you watch Shark Tank?
No, I don't watch that.
So what we're not going to do is we're not going to have another break. I'm going to get you up here, Bill.
Okay.
And I want to thank you very much for showing up.
Not a problem.
And we're going to put this in there and get that going.
All right.
Okay.
How's everybody doing tonight? Good?
Yeah.
Good.
I want to come up too.
Yes.
Hi everybody, I'm Dawn.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm Bill's much better half.
There you go.
She is.
Right.
I'll go with that.
Yes, you will. You know when he
I have a
goes with
choice,
that?
right?
Because he's a man. He can be right or he can be happy.
That's right.
There you go.
That's
It
exactly
can't be
right.
both. So Bill's just pretty much happy.
I'm just happy, that's it.
I'm always right.
Who else has a wife that's always right? Anybody in here?
That's it, you know. You guys know what I'm talking about.
There we go. Is that it there?
Okay. Sounds good. Are you going to sit there with me?
For a little bit.
Oh, you are? See, we're this close to the beach, so sometimes I lose them. We went to Bahamas to do a 3-day workshop a few years ago. Who did the workshop? You did. Who laid on the beach? You did.
Smart.
Yeah, that's about it.
It's true.
That's
I
right.
like how you guys like hang out and have wine.
Yeah. See, us guys, we don't have many choices in life, do we? We can work or go to prison. That's about it. That's all the choices we have, isn't it? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start out investing in no equity foreclosures. Here's what we've got. Oh, you guys are making money already, aren't you? Learn how to make today cash. That's what we're going to talk about on this 2-day workshop that's coming up this weekend. How many people in here are planning to come to the 2-day workshop? Anybody in here? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. So we've got some already, so I knew some of the people are going to be here tonight.
So before you go past that, so those of you that did not raise your hand, just, I don't know if you even are aware, we're doing a 2-day workshop this Saturday and Sunday at this hotel.
Yeah.
So it's 9 to 5 on both days. It's me and Bill for probably pretty much most of both days, but the beach may call me over for an hour or two. But I'm not really sure. We'll have to just see how the weather is this weekend. But definitely Bill for
So
sure.
pray for rain. Pray for rain.
Stop.
That's right, it's going to be cold, that's right, cold and rainy. You see, you don't want to be home when it's cold and rainy anyway, you want to be here. So, let's look at what we've got started
So we
here
just
first.
want to, do you guys mind if I just ask you guys not to whisper? I'm sorry, it's just real distracting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Would you guys mind? Okay, I'm sorry.
Just to give it.
I'm actually, it's loud enough, I'm listening, I feel myself going like this, like I want to tune in over there. So we just kind of want to go over some of the things that are happening in the market and some of the things that we're going to talk about this weekend. And for you guys that are planning on coming, some things you can kind of look forward to. And if you're not planning on coming, maybe when we're done tonight, you'll say, hey, I want to come and see those guys. And for the people that do come, 411 Realty is sponsoring all of your seats. So you guys don't have to pay to come. Linda is done a trade with us.
Linda and Dan, yeah.
And Dan, and
Yeah.
so they have sponsored you guys to be able to come for the weekend. So there's no charge for you to come. You can bring a guest. Like I said, it's both days here at the hotel. So we're just going to go over, like I said, some of the things happening in the market. And Linda and Dan have taken care of your guys' tuition, I guess, would be a good word.
Yeah, with you guys.
Okay.
That's exactly right. All right, since the crash, did you know that there's approximately 10 million people in some stage of late payments or foreclosure right now? And there's a lot of people that are behind in payments. Are there people behind in payments in Santa Barbara right now? Oh, there is, right? Yeah, okay. Because a lot of people think some of their areas don't have many foreclosures. Because we hear this, because we speak all over the country. Well, our area doesn't have a lot of foreclosures. You know what? All areas have foreclosures. They all do.
They have houses, they have foreclosures.
That's right. Over 4 million foreclosures have been completed. 1.4 million people have filed bankruptcy this year, most to avoid the foreclosure sale of their property. Bank of America has said that 75% of their Chapter 13s are filed. 75% of their Chapter 13s are filed within 7 days of the sale date. That's a lot. So what's that telling you? People are filing bankruptcy to what? Stop the sale date.
Sale.
Okay, do you guys understand how to talk to the bank when you're doing a short sale and there's only a few days left before the sale date? Do you know what to say to try to get the bank to push that sale date back? That's going to be some of the stuff we're going to talk about this weekend.
Let me ask you a
How to
question.
do that.
In this room, how many of you guys are already full-time investors? Okay, so the rest of you are brand new,
Part-time?
thinking about it.
Part-time.
Part-time, do you do some, do you do any investing yet?
No, just a lot of reading.
A lot of reading. So you need to be pushed off the cliff. Okay, what about you? Are you part-time?
It's not really relevant right now, just get to the point. I just saw my question, so go ahead and get to the point.
Well, you know what, hey, with that, you really probably need to leave that. Okay, honestly. No, I'm dead serious. Okay? So why don't you take
I'm
off?
just getting to know the audience.
Okay, okay, all right.
I'm just
Be
part of
polite.
what we
We're trying to be
do is
polite
we try to
too.
get to know the audience so that we can try to help you guys. Our goal is to help you. If you're part-time, if you're part-time, if you're full-time, our goal is just like these guys, we just want to help everybody be more successful. So I ask lots of questions to the audience because I want to get a feel for where you guys are at.
That's
You
right.
know, if you've done 100 deals and you've done 0 deals, it's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation, it's a different
Yeah.
training, it's different everything. That's exactly right. Hundreds of thousands of millionaires have lost their status. All right, the good news is America is expected to add 5 million new millionaires in the next 5 years. 5 million.
Who wants to be in
one of
that?
those?
Who wants to be in that?
Yeah.
So that is the
everybody
good
does.
news. A lot of people lost their status, maybe even some people in the room, because the market did crash pretty fast. And if you really weren't a prepared investor and really didn't see it coming, a lot of people ended up completely upside down. But the good news is there's 5 million new people coming in the market in the next 5 years. So I think we should all be in that group. Does everyone agree? Because Steve Forbes, all the people that write magazines like that, they always say, what's the #1 asset class every year when there's new millionaires?
Keeping it.
Did I say that right? Ask a question. So every year when there's like new millionaires every year, more of
Most of them
them
are coming
are
from-
made from real estate
Absolutely.
than the other group. So I don't know, did I ask that question properly?
Well,
So there's more new millionaires from real estate than all the other things every single year when there's new millionaires. So out of this 5 million new people, a very large portion of those will all be people involved in the real estate business.
Yeah. How many people lost their millionaire status that were in real estate? A lot of people. A lot of people did. So it's a double-edged sword.
So
Okay?
you have to prepare, we gotta get you guys like.
Now, bottom line is there's an opportunity to become or re-become a millionaire real estate investor right now. All you need is a proven system that has sustained several economic ups and downturns and still works, which happens to be here right now. All right, we happen to have that. We understand different markets in the country. We go all over the country and teach people how to work in their own backyards, whether it's here or it's LA or it's Paramount, California, or if it's San Francisco, it makes no difference. I've been out to so many neighborhoods working with investors one-on-one in California, so many places. All right, we wholesale and flip properties. We buy single-family commercial, no-equity properties for rentals. That's what we do. We take control of no-equity properties. We specialize in that. We also specialize, we rehab here and there once in a while to stay sharp. We always do 1 or 2 rehabs a year. We don't do a lot of rehabbing, but we do 1 or 2 a year. And the reason we do that is because they're kind of fun. We have a good time rehabbing. Okay?
Yeah, so when you look at the way that we do our business model, you know, we don't want to have all of our eggs in just one basket because, you know, that's how people get in trouble in the first place, having everything in one basket. So for our business and our family and the way that we structure things, we do the wholesaling, which is the flipping, where we get the houses under contract and then we sell them to a rehab or a landlord for like a quick check. And then so that's basically our daily in and out. We have a wholesale business. So that's how we eat. And then, you know, the rentals, the commercial, things like that, those are the long-term, where we're looking to get involved now and keep it for, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, give it to our kids and down to their kids and, retire. And then we do, like he said, we do rehab, because rehabbing is actually fun. And it's good to stay up on the market and, decorating and designing and, kind of stay fresh with things as you're going along. But I just want to give, I don't know if we made a slide, I just want to give you guys a super quick example. Now we live in part of the time in Colorado and part of the time in Florida. So in Colorado, we have this one particular neighborhood that is, because it's such a different price range in Santa Barbara than it is there. So it's only a $130,000 house, but it's not like the dead of the hood. It would be like the good hood. So I understand it's like, you guys are like, $100,000, you can't even buy a piece of grass for that, So like I get the difference in the price range. But in Colorado, we have multi-million-dollar neighborhoods as well, and we have like kind of the hoodish.
Yeah.
So we just have a deal that this week
Chase.
with Chase, that the homeowners owed $132,000, and this is a really cute, it's a 3-2, right, or 3-1?
It's a 3-2.
It's a
3-1.
3-1?
Yeah.
So they owe $132, and the bank accepted a $60,000, a short sale, and they're accepting $60,000 as the full payoff. So the bank sent us the letter on Tuesday and said, we'll take your offer of $60,000. That's a good deal, right?
Yeah.
So we found a guy to sell it to. He is paying $135,
Right.
but he's giving us 40 acres free and clear land with mineral rights, which is a big deal in Colorado because they have, all kinds of stuff in,
All the gas.
like the house we even live in. Like you don't buy your house with mineral rights.
Yeah.
Your house is on the land, but they find gold on your property, it does not belong to you. So the guy that's buying it is giving us $40,000 cash and 40,000 acres free and clear with mineral rights. So that's a really good deal.
Yeah.
So that's the flipping thing. So now we're gonna get 40 grand, we're gonna get some land. So what we're gonna do with that land, we have plans for that land.
Yeah, we do. That's exactly right.
So at some point there'll be property on that land, but not right today.
Does that include the air rights too?
Yeah.
I
We don't want planes fly over either.
So you're in Colorado, you cannot play over my 40 acres. But it is very hard to get property with mineral rights
I mean, you
because
can buy them, but you know what, a lot of them, especially right now in Colorado, just because of all the natural gas and stuff.
I'm
so.
hoping that they wanna come and drill. I'm like, I got 40 acres, man, drill away.
Go.
Well, I'm gonna do it fun, I'll split it with you.
That's right.
Okay.
2010, 11, and 12, look at here. 4.19 million homes sold in 2010, 34% of them sold for cash. That's approximately 1.4 million homes sold for cash in 2010. Look at 2011, 38%, which is 1.6 million cash homes that were sold for cash. In 2012, 4.3 million, right? 30% of those, which is 1.29 million homes sold for cash. Now look at this. In 3 years, that's 4.29 million homes. Less than 10% were owner occupied.
What does that tell you?
There's a lot of cash out there. Who was saying that tonight? Brandon was saying that. There's a lot of cash out there right now.
Yeah, that tells you there's a lot of cash and there's a lot of investors.
There's a lot of stuff out there that we call anxious money. There's people out there that had money in the stock market, they had money in other things, they pulled it back, they don't know what to do with it. All right? You need to hook those people up with some of the deals that we're going to help you find. Okay? Look at Floyd. Floyd's in California. You got a property here, and Floyd was in the business how long? Like 22
20
or
years, he was
21
20 years in the business, he was a full-time landlord, he had never done anything but buy and hold. Never did a wholesale, never did a short sale, never did rehab, nothing. And he actually came to one of the 2-day workshops, and he was super skeptical. Like, he was just one of those guys that sat there kind of, the whole weekend, this is not gonna work, and I'm a landlord, I know this, I know that.
And the workshop
Really?
he came to was in Texas.
It's so difficult.
So he was like, we live in California, that doesn't work in California.
So,
You
for
know.
whatever reason, the man decided to work with us anyway. I guess he liked us, and he got involved in our one-on-one training. And this was his very first deal. So he found a house where the homeowners owed $725, and the bank accepted $275,000 as the full payment. So is that a really good first deal? So he calls me, like, oh my God, Dwan, I'm making $105,000 my first deal, I love you, I'm so sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. You know, saying that your stuff doesn't work, and I mean, he's my biggest fan now. So he has an office now that has, I don't know, how, like
Gosh.
maybe
He's
10
got
employees or something.
5 or 6.
And they do short sales for people all over California. Like he has a full-time business doing that.
And
plus
they're in
his
Vegas.
rentals.
They're in Vegas.
And they also work over in Vegas
Yeah,
too.
because I work with him in Vegas and also.
That's why when
in Southern
the guy earlier was talking about Vegas, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
we work over there
Yeah.
too. Vegas is a good
Hey,
area.
where are you going?
Water.
Okay, very
I
nice.
thought you were getting more wine.
But I-
Now, here's the thing though, you have to realize too, Vegas is at 6,000 properties over the last, what, few months? What were they back, anybody remember what the Vegas market looked like back in 2006 or 7 with all the new construction? 47,000 properties on the market. So we're at 6,000. Big difference, big difference. Okay, here's Brian. Brian made $20,000 on his first short sale, first wholesale.
Wholesale.
$10 workshop, made $17,000 on the next one. And what's so funny, Brian made that $20,000 in how long?
Like 9 days.
9 or 10 days.
9 or 10 days.
Yeah, it was
Really
less than
fast.
2 weeks.
It was
So
really
you're gonna leave
fast.
with the 20 grand? He lives in what is it?
Valdosta.
Valdosta, Georgia, around the border of Florida and Georgia. And he ended up paying his trailer off. He lives in a trailer. He owed about $19,000 on his trailer. And he said, you know what, I can't believe it. I'm taking this first deal, I'm paying my trailer off. Now he doesn't have a house payment anymore. So he was all excited. Then he made another $17,000 like 6 weeks later. Here's Mary and Paul. They live in Dallas. Mary and Paul went to our 2-day training in Dallas. They've been to our 2-day training, oh gosh, many
They've been
times.
probably 10 times.
Yeah, they paid off their credit cards in their first wholesale deal. They make what,
37,000.
Yeah, 35,
So you guys be happy with those
37,000
deals?
Yeah, that's what I would
Yeah.
pay all my credit cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$37,000 is a lot of credit card debt, really. I mean, that takes
It
you,
is.
for, until the end of time to pay it off. You
That's
paid
right.
it all up in one shot. But would you guys in this room be happy if you had just a $20,000 deal?
Sure, sure.
$37,000, $100,000 deal?
Yeah, gotcha.
Someone gave you 40 acres?
Yeah.
Take it.
40,
You know,
and
it's all
here's the
good.
thing, I don't know if you told the whole story, but I'm taking the 40 acres as a down payment, okay? And then we're still making about $44,000 cash on the deal on top of that. So that's a sweet deal for us. And how long did it take me to short it?
Like
Well,
6
see us, it
weeks.
took me, no, not even that long, it took me 2.5 weeks to get that
Yeah,
thing
because the
shorted.
fax came on Tuesday, it was like,
Yeah,
we're
because I
gonna
was
have
working with the lady.
already? How's
Yeah.
that possible?
I was working with the lady, explaining to her exactly what the homeowner was gonna do, how they were gonna buy time, how they were gonna, stretch this thing out if they had to. And 2.5 weeks later, boom, I had an approval letter. It was ready to go. So that's the nice thing about it. So I've got it over the title company, we're getting ready to get it closed.
So these are the things that we're gonna share with you over the weekend, is how to do all of this stuff without any money. This particular house that we're just doing in Colorado, did you guys even give her $10 down?
Yeah, we give her $10.
So we gave her a $10 deposit, called Chase. Chase did the short sale from 132 and said, we'll take 60. And then the other guy gave us a deposit, and then he's giving us the cash and the land. So we only had $10 out of the deal, and a couple of weeks and a couple phone calls, and Chase said, we'll do it.
And how did we
And
find
they,
this
and
lady?
they want us to close by the last day of October.
How did we find this lady?
You may advertise and ban it,
Yeah. She called an abandoned sign, watch this. She called an abandoned sign that we put in her yard of her house that was sitting vacant.
Yeah, that's a nice move, I like
She did. She's like, you guys have a sign in my yard.
I told him that in July, and he just stands up and goes, that's the best thing I've heard all day.
It is. She called up, you guys have a sign in my yard. So Bill turns the conversation, hey, what are you doing with that house? Well, I'm trying to sell it. So that's the house that we just got. We put a sign, because her house was vacant, so we put a abandoned sign in her yard, and she called us from our sign.
She goes, hey, you got a sign in my yard. I said, what address you talking about?
I
She
know,
was
they were-
4607 West Tennessee Avenue. I says, I don't have any signs over there. So those kids, they move my signs all the time. I said, let me ask you this, what are you thinking about doing with that property? I said, she turned the conversation back around. But see, here's the thing, if you don't know what to say to homeowners, and you can't get them to believe what you say to be true, you're not gonna have any deals to work. I guarantee you there's probably not a lot of people in this area that are out talking to homeowners face to face.
Anybody doing that?
They mail stuff. Keith is, but see, Keith's got a lot of business. See, the thing is, a lot of investors like to mail things and hope something happens. Sit and wait for the phone to ring. I say go out, find an area that you want to work, find out who's in distress, and go get them. quit waiting for them to come to you, because when you start waiting for people to come to you, the problem you have is you don't know who's going to come to you when. All right, when you're out there working every day and making it happen, you're out there talking to people face to face, you won't believe how fast you can start getting deals. Okay, and everybody says inventory's drying up. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of foreclosures out there, and a lot of people are just mailing them. Who's ever got junk mail before? Anybody in here? Does it all look the same? All right, your junk mail or your mailings that you're doing look just like everybody else's. Okay, the only thing that makes yours different is you staple a $100 bill to it. That's it. It's the only way they're going to remember it. All right? Now think about this. Let's put ourselves in the mindset of a homeowner behind in payments and cannot make the payments on their house. They're 4 or 5 months behind. Let's just think that's happening to us right now. Do you want to work with somebody that's just mailing you something that you have to physically call? Or would you like somebody showing up and talking to you face to face about your situation and how they can help you buy time to stay in their home and try to get something worked out with your bank to, to where you don't lose your property? Who do you want to deal with? You want to deal with somebody face to face. All homeowners do. But see, investors don't like to do that because they're afraid of what to say, and what if I screw something up? What if what if they don't like me? What if they don't like my hairstyle? What is it? What is it about it that makes you so afraid to do it? Okay? You got to remember, homeowners are more afraid to talk to you than you are of them. They really are. They really are. Because they really don't want to give up information sometimes. That's why you have to feed them and give them information to walk them down the path that they want to go down. If they want to stay in their house, you talk to them about saving their house. You don't go up the door and say, hey, I'm an investor, I buy houses, I want to talk to you about buying your house because I see you're in foreclosure. I don't want to sell my house. Boom, and they shut the door on you. So you can't talk to them about buying their house right off the bat. They're not ready sometimes. You want me to just do that, I started out as a single mom thing, or do you want to do that?
No, give me that clicker.
Oh.
How do you use this one? Is it right?
Right there.
See, you want to buy a new fancy clicker, I don't know how to use this one.
No, that's
All
not
right.
mine. I'll switch over here with you.
So anyway, I know some of you may or may not know who we are, and I know Bill was here the last time by himself. So I just wanted to just briefly share how I got started investing in real estate. So I did start out as a single mom. I had gotten married, I had a daughter when she was 8 months old. I don't even know what's up here. Let me just see what you put up. So I don't repeat all the stuff here. Anyway, so I went through a divorce, had an 8-month-old kid, and so this is her now. She's actually here with us tonight. She's roaming around somewhere. She was going to come up here into the room, and then she saw the beach over there, and she's over from Vegas, and I lost her to the beach. I lost her to the beach.
Go far.
I lost her to the beach at the front door. She's like, look, the beach is right there. I'll be back. I haven't seen her since. She's been gone for hours now. But yeah, she's all grown up now. No, she's not. She's turned 25. It's like, I cannot believe I have a 25-year-old child. It's because I'm just like, 29 myself. I told her, I said, guys, we're almost the same age. In like 4 more years, we'll be the exact same age. So, but anyway, I, in my 20s, didn't really have any career. I was just a waitress, and I'd been fired from Denny's. I mean, didn't have any real career path started. And I got married and had a baby. I was going to stay home and have kids. And when she was 8 months old, her dad and I split up. So basically, I was 30 years old, I have an 8-month-old kid, I have no formal education, I have no job, I have no job skills, I've already been fired from Denny's, so you can imagine how bad of a waitress you must be to get fired from Denny's. You guys have seen the people that work there, they hire anybody. But apparently, I'm something about, insubordination, bad talking, I don't know what happened, I got fired. Several times, actually many times in my 20s. I'm apparently really opinionated when I work for other people, which makes me a good entrepreneur because I can't fire myself. But anyway, I just made one of those times, when you have in your life a crossroad. You're like, where am I going to go from here? And so I'm thinking, do I get a job? I have to find daycare. And I really just made a decision that I wasn't going to get involved in the daycare system. That was just the whole thing. I waited till I was 30 years old. I'm not putting this kid in daycare. I'm going to find a job I can do for my house, and as long as it's legal, because I'm living in South Florida, so, drugs and all kinds of stuff you can do. I'm thinking, as long as it's legal and I can do it out of the house, I don't care what it is, I'm going to find something so she does not go to daycare. So that was my decision. So then, once I made the decision, I had to try to find something that I could do, because I have no job skills, and I only know how to wait tables, really. And so I met some people, I think you put this up here. So I met some investors, some people that were rehabbing houses. So I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I love to decorate. So rehabbing, decorating, I mean, how hard could rehabbing possibly be? I love to decorate, I just go in and fix it up, it'd be great. So that was I had no rehab skills. I really, for real, thought rehab and decorating were the same thing. And I went door knocking, and it took me 3 weeks. I door knocked all day long for 3 weeks with this baby on my hip, talking to homeowners. Nobody would say yes, it was just no, all day. So by 3 weeks, I'm really dejected. I'm thinking like, God must have a different plan for me. It's clearly not investing and, decorating houses and stuff. So anyway, in my 3rd week, I thought I'm just gonna give it like another week. I was really down to like 1 more week, and that's 30 days. If it's not gonna pan out, I'm gonna find something else. And this woman says yes, opens the door, and invites me in. So now I'm in the house thinking, I don't know what to say. No one's ever said yes. I've never been this far. I'm on the other side of the door now. I don't know what to do. So I just, wing it. But I made a deal with her. And the bottom line is, I moved into the house and she moved out. So I was going to live in it, and I was going to rehab it and then sell it. And again, I think that rehabbing and decorating are the same. So I started rehabbing, and I'm living on credit cards. I have no money. I mean, I have like $65,000 in credit card debt. This is 20 years ago. I mean, I'm up to my eyeballs in credit card debt. And I paint the house. I ordered some carpet. I put some blinds, and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my gosh, this house is terrible. And I have no money. And I don't know how to fix anything. And the paint and the carpet and the blinds didn't really help at all. The house was really bad. The woman, turns out, and I did not know this at the time, I only found this out from watching that TV show, that show called Buried Alive, about the hoarders. You ever see that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this woman was a hoarder, but I didn't know what hoarding was, and I'd never been in a foreclosure, so I just assumed that they all looked like this one. Oh my gosh, looking back, my very first house was a hoarder. And I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how awful this house was. Anyway, so I started going to Home Depot and taking those do-it-yourself classes, because this house needs cabinets, kitchens, bathrooms. It needs so much stuff, and I really possess no further rehab skills at all. So I rehabbed my first house. I did 90% of the work in that house by myself. I learned how to put in toilets and how to build cabinets and how to make screens. I pressure washed the swimming pool, which was full of spiders, and did everything, the whole house. And my basement, gosh, this gives me the jeebies thinking about it. My whole screen, which was full of spiders, there were a million of them in there. It's my nerves. So anyway, it looked really good when I was done. And I sold it, I put it on the market, and I made, in 4 days, a buyer came in which this has probably never happened since then either, that was fully qualified, FHA, had the pre-approval, the down payment, everything. They just walked in, and here's my paperwork, I'll take the house. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so easy to sell houses, I can do this all day. Not knowing that as, over the time, they don't all sell in 4 days to qualified buyers with all the money. But the first one sold really quick, and I made $22,000. So I thought, okay, $22,000 is like a whole entire year of waiting table. Ayla was in the house with me every day, and she was drawing and painting and scribbling and, hanging out, and I lived in it and rehabbed it, and so that's what I did. I fixed them up, and then I sold that one, I moved into another one, and I moved around until she got into kindergarten, and then I stayed at that house for years, many years. We were in a really, really nice house that we had gotten foreclosure. And just started doing more deals, and then I started a REIA group in South Florida and started sharing my knowledge, because I was like, oh my gosh, if I can do this, everyone can do this. I'm going to tell other people what I'm doing. I'm making so much money, this is so much fun, I'm rehabbing houses, I'm decorating, and I loved it. So that was it. I was sold, and then all the way back in '98, I started, I was doing so many deals at that point, like right out of the gate, within the first year or two, I take that back. I rehabbed for 3 years full-time, like 100% full-time rehab for 3 years. And then I learned about wholesaling. And I thought, okay, I already know how to find homeowners. So I can find a homeowner, and then I can sell the house to another rehabber and just make a fee and not have to physically do the work anymore. So, after I'm doing this for 3 years, I'm like, I'm rolling into my mid-30s, and I'm like, I'm getting tired of, physically doing all the work. So I I started wholesaling houses, so I average about 75 houses a year. So I'm a wholesaling maniac.
Is that a lot of houses to wholesale?
It's crazy. I was a maniac. I was just like flipping houses like crazy. But the thing is, back then, there was not even a REIA group in South Florida yet. REIA groups were so new. So there wasn't a REIA group, so I didn't know really many other investors. I knew a few guys I met, like I saw at Home Depot all the time, but I didn't really know other investors, so I had no line of comparison.
You turn and sold landlords mostly.
Mostly, yeah, and so I knew all those Section 8 landlords, and so I remember looking at the paper one day, and they were starting a REIA group. I was like, oh, REIA, Real Estate Investor Association, I'm gonna go to that first meeting. And there was like 80 people there, and they're almost all guys, almost everybody's a guy. And so I'm a little bit intimidated, you know, people ask, how many deals do you do in a year? And I'm like, I just, you know, I don't know what everybody else is doing. So I'm like, you know, I just did like 75 deals. So I find out, I walk around the room, I'm flipping the most houses of the whole room. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a rock star, and I don't even know it. I didn't even know. So I was just doing deals like crazy. So I started calling banks, and some of the deals were too tight, and the banks started taking money off. And so all the way back in '98, I went and started doing just little small trainings in my area and teaching people how to do short sales, and actually trademarked the term short sales, and wrote the very first program. And then like all these speakers that you guys see, like Louis Brown and Ron LeGrand, all these guys all came to my little classes that I would have, and they all learned short sales and came out with all their own programs. So I'm like, I already trademarked it, so I claim I helped start the entire short sale industry. So I was the first one that was like, you know, as a teacher, was training that, teaching that in my local area. And then, you know, just one thing led to another, and then we wrote a couple books. And right now, I'm currently writing a book with Steve Forbes. So it comes out January 1st. Everybody gave for me. I'm in the same shirt.
Oh, you are in the same shirt.
I bought this shirt special for my photo shoot,
With Steve.
and I have not worn it since until today. I was like, oh, I love this shirt. I gotta wear it to Santa Barbara. Anyway, so there's a book. It's called Success-O-Nomics. And Steve picked, there's about 30 people that are all in different fields. And so he picked like one person is a dentist, writing about how to build that to a business. Everyone is some kind of an entrepreneur. And so I was chosen to write a section on real estate investing. So what I'm teaching you, or what we talked about the flipping, the long-term holding, and the rehabbing, like that's what is my chapter. And the book is about that because it's a formula that gives you 3 separate sections of real estate, some that bring in cash every day, some that bring in a little bit for long-term, and some, well, the other one, all, and then rehabbing, just, you know, because it's just fun to rehab houses and stay sharp. And like, anybody watch HGTV shows? You know, you see them in the before and after, oh my God, look at that house. It's fun to do. So I do actually still get to decorate once in a while. And so that's my section. And Bill is writing a book with Dan Kennedy.
Who's our Dan Kennedy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm writing a book with Dan Kennedy.
So his book is called Stand Apart,
Stand apart, yeah.
and it also comes out in January.
Yeah.
So you guys are okay to talk to you, pre-rock star. I know, it's really exciting. It's like, oh my God, I'm writing a book with Steve Forbes. How is that possible? I mean, seriously, when I started like walking out the door from Denny's that day.
Paul that he picked you, so that was really cool.
Yes. Many people, I'm sure, submitted chapters. So it was really exciting to get selected. I started crying. You know, I mean, the day I got fired from Denny's, he would think I'd be writing a book with Steve Forbes. So anyway, so that's kind of my deal and how I got to where I'm at. And so we
Does this thing have a mute button on it?
No. It's the only time I'm going to keep this thing in my hand tonight. So we teach and we train and we work with people one-on-one. And we write programs and we write books and we still do deals. Because we like doing deals, we have fun doing it, but we really like to train. So we spend a huge part of our business on training other people because we have a really good, solid business that has survived over 20 years with all the ups and downs, and we're still okay.
Well, Dan knows, Dan, you came to,
Probably 5 or 6 years ago, my son Michael and I went to your event out in Las Vegas, and we loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
there was how many in that room? There's about 280 in that room.
Oh, it was
There's
big.
a-
It was a big
there's a
room.
lot.
And I'll tell you the truth, I really wanted to be here this weekend to do it, and of course I had this class reunion that came up, and I went, oh my God.
That's all right.
You're not going to be here this weekend?
I'm not even going to be here
A
this
class
weekend.
reunion is more important than spending time with me. No.
Not really, but I've already committed to it long
Thank you,
ago.
ma'am.
So anyways, that's kind of my deal, and so you really can't start, you know, blindly, but I don't recommend that. I recommend that you find someone to work with, a mentor, ideally us. We want to be your mentors, because I can personally attest to the fact, looking back over all my years, it's shocking I made any money at all in the beginning, because I had no idea what I was, when I tell you that painting that wall of that first house, that was my full-blown rehab skills. And now, I got my tile, I can put in toilets,